Have you been up here, Zach?
Up there? No.
It's beautiful.
What do you see?
Corn.
Corn.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Hello, you beautiful nerds. So DC has been making quite some noise recently, and to be honest, it's got me pretty excited to see what they got coming out next, even though they've had a few not so great movies.
My man. My man.
So I thought it'd be a fun idea to go back and watch all the films set in the shared DC universe. So you know what that means? Still not watching Joker. Okay, have a drink and smoke a bowl, because we're going to talk about Zack Snyder's super sad, super serious Superman flick. I'm going to start by saying that I do like this movie. It's pretty good. I definitely can't say that I hate it, but there is some stuff in this movie that is straight stupid. This Superman story is a bit different than the traditional one, so I'm gonna get into the plot. Way in outer space, a planet named Krypton is
just doomed.
But a scientist named Jor-El totally saw it coming, so him and his wife decide to send their newborn baby off into space. Right before that, though, there's an attempted coup by this dude named Zod, and the attempted coups get thrown into a dungeon devoid of time and space known as the Phantom Zone. Wait, not to be gross, but those spaceships look like dicks, right? There's also some stuff about Kal-El being the first natural-born baby in forever or some such shit. And there's like a floating skull thing. But I'm not gonna talk about that. That story is boring. So Jor-El and Lor Van send their baby Kal-El to planet Earth. This all sets up a pretty beautiful tale. And as he's drifting off into space, we see his mom staring death in the face, whispering to the son she'll never see grow up. And that is a beautiful sentiment that a mother would totally want for her kid. Hey, the Kingpin's wife is in this movie. But as the audience knows, Kal is not going to a better world. He's coming to Earth. A world that has its own fair share of bickering leaders. And that's like 90 years behind Krypton in terms of fucking its own planet into extinction. Years later, Clark is all grown up, but it seems like he's chosen to just walk the Earth.
What you mean walk the Earth? You know, like Kane in Kung Fu. Walk from place to place, meet people, get in adventures.
I guess at some point he finds out that the military discovered an ancient spaceship buried in the Arctic. They don't really explain how Clark finds this out, but I guess he just Superman. He saves this big-time journalist named Lois, and after this, she becomes obsessed with finding out who the mystery man is. I really like these changes in the story. Classic story is great, but these changes weren't offensively different. I also love how he discovers an old Kryptonian ship and flies it to the middle of nowhere, and that's his Fortress of Solitude. While Clark learns to fly and hangs out with Ghost Dad, Lois tracks down Clark and finds out what he is. I really like what they did with Lois Lane in this movie. This may be blasphemous, but she's probably my favorite movie Lois Lane. In this, she tracks down Superman and finds out who he is, which totally makes sense. If she's supposed to be the world's greatest investigative journalist, but she doesn't know that her coworker is Superman, she'd come off kind of stupid, like she does in every other movie. It's kind of cool that she finds out that he has superpowers, and is kind of the one who's helping guide him into the world. The first half of this movie I really fucking loved. It all starts to fall apart for me when we get to the flashback of John Kent's death. One of the biggest problems the movie has is the characterization of Clark. Again, I like a lot of the stuff they did with Clark in this movie. But my gripe is with the way the boy was raised. Clark's dad, in the original story, dies of a heart attack. It's kind of a learning moment for Clark and teaches him that with all of his strength, he can't fix everything with his powers. It humbles him and makes him think twice before doing irresponsible shit like this. He's already a good kid, but this makes him even more thoughtful with how he uses his powers. That's in the old movie. In this movie, again, Clark starts out as an impulsively good kid. He's selfless, courageous, and always wants to do the right thing. But then, fucking John Kent plants a seed of moral ambiguity in his head. He tells him that mankind would hate him if they knew what he was, and that maybe humans aren't worth saving. What the fuck, John? Not only does it make John sound like a fucking bad father, Clark ends up grappling with these questions for the next 2 movies. It never really feels like he gets over that shit. And let us not forget that John Kent died saving a fucking dog. For some reason, he didn't think that Clark should try to save people, but he felt the need to run his slow ass over there and die for this fucking dog. And worst of all, Clark doesn't really learn anything from this. In fact, it seems like his arc is to forget what his dad taught him. The only reason he didn't reveal himself to the world is because his dad told him that the world wouldn't accept him. But then he finally makes the decision that his dad didn't know what the fuck he was talking about, and that the world will accept him if he does good. Because people are inherently good and are kind of worth saving, despite what his dad said.
I let my father die because I trusted him. Because he was convinced that I had to wait. That the world was not ready.
And then his mom says this shit
truth about you is beautiful. We knew that one day the whole world would see that.
What the fuck? No, he didn't. That's why he wasn't Superman for the first act of the movie. This storyline makes it feel like John was just ashamed of his son. It feels like a parable for a dad who doesn't want his son to come out of the closet or something. Meanwhile, the military are studying this UFO that came curiously close to planet Earth. This was a pretty dope moment. I remember this being in the first trailer for Man of Steel and thinking, oh shit, it's like Superman 2 but spooky. Say what you want about Zack Snyder's filmmaking, and yeah, I'm gonna. But the guy knows how to point a camera. His movies always look incredible. And the visual effects in this movie are spectacular. I'm not even talking about the big action set pieces, which are impressive. But I'm talking about this, like all the costumes are CGI. That's insane to me. Clark surrenders, then escapes, then saves Lois. Oh, but not before hearing Zod's world domination scheme. Then Lois and Clark coincidentally land in Smallville of all places. Then Zod threatens to kill Martha, so she'll tell him where the magic MacGuffin is. By the way, that whole storyline is dumb. They say they need the Codex or whatever to terraform the Earth, but then they start terraforming Earth without it, so I'm not... What? This is kind of a hilarious moment when all the people in the town are running into the buildings for safety. They're like, stay inside, we should be safe in here. Lock the door. I do feel like it was a bit much to have Superman dealing with Zod and the gang on his first real outing as a superhero. He just learned to fly like 20 minutes ago. It's like, it makes sense that he's not more careful during this fight, but only because it's his first fight. Like, ever. Like, as soon as the fight gets going, Superman does some wildly irresponsible shit.
Like, it's irresponsible, but it's also weirdly out of character because Clark is supposed to be nice.
Like, I don't think that Clark would crash dude into his neighbor's grain silo. Also, during all this, Superman only saves one guy.
This man is not our enemy.
You sure about that, bro? Superman Returns is boring as shit for the most part, but I do love this sequence where he saves a bunch of people. Superheroes are always having big CGI fights with the forces of evil, but they don't actually save people that much in these movies. Call me a big old softy, but I think superheroes should save the day and protect the innocent. Don't get me wrong, I like seeing good guys versus bad guys as much as the next nerd. I just like to see my heroes save a kitten every once in a while. So Clark stops the CGI terraform monster. Lois survives what must have been a suicide mission. Like, did they discuss beforehand that no one was gonna survive this mission? Or then Zod gets all mad that his plan didn't work, so him and Clark fight for what feels like hours. I don't know why this is so boring to me. Probably because Clark is acting so out of character. It's like he's going out of his way to cause more destruction. A lot of the DC movies really start to flounder in the third act. The stakes are always so unnecessarily high. Like, dude, maybe this movie doesn't need a big fight with a bunch of fire and smoke and CGI. It really felt like the movie should have ended after the suicide mission Phantom Zone stuff. But I guess whoever wrote this moment really wanted it in the movie because this is the most contrived shit in the whole flick. Someone at some point thought, dude, what if Superman straight murdered Zod? And then they created this very avoidable scenario where Clark is forced to kill Zod. I don't hate this moment as much as other people do. I mean, it's the only moment in the franchise where they let Hank do any acting.
It's just that this feels like a way happier way to end the climax, but I don't know, that's just me.
So after he saves the world, Superman and the military call a truce, and Clark decides to get a job with his new pal Lois. And then the movie comes to an end. 20 minutes too late. Not trying to write a better movie. There's a lot of great shit in this story, and I hate it when people are like, I could write a better movie than that. Because they're probably wrong. Writing a movie is really fucking hard. Writing a great movie is damn near impossible. And the perfect movie doesn't exist, so I'm not trying to, I'm not going down that road, even though Empire is close. There are just a few questionable character choices that brings it down a couple letter grades for me. This movie is fine, but it had the potential to be so good, and they wasted every opportunity. In 20 years, that's probably going to be the title of the book about the DC shared universe. My ranking, I didn't love it. It's not the best, but it's not the worst either. Don't worry. We'll get to the worst. Alright, that's it for my Man of Steel review. Thanks for watching, and if you want to get updates on new videos, don't forget to subscribe, or just click the like button. YouTube will just annoyingly suggest my videos to you. Stay safe, my daily planeteers, and may the Force be with you.